Greetings, and this is Haranoshi for Toltec Talks. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about the Four Agreements, or the Toltec Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So, if you've seen some of the past videos on the talk of the first and second attention, that'll help with this video itself. But these are four pillars of perception on the warrior's path that I've found have helped me and countless other people around me. And it's a journey that I've been on for years that I'm still integrating these teachings, and they still help me. Every day I bring them into my consciousness and story. The first of the four agreements is be impeccable with your word. Now, I've seen a lot of people misinterpret this agreement. This doesn't mean, very simply and very basically, this doesn't mean don't lie. Now, it's good to not lie, and it's good to seek the truth and speak the truth. But being impeccable with your word is different than just don't tell lies. Being impeccable with your word means do no harm with your word. Don't cast curses. If you've seen my Black Magicians talk, don't use the word against yourself or against others. Speaking is like casting spells. We have the ability to affect consciousness with our words. What we say can heal or harm. What we say can affect someone for the rest of their life. If we shame someone, if we blame someone, if we unconsciously curse them with the things that we say, making fun of people singing because we feel uncomfortable, dancing, any other form of expression, if you shoot that down and tease or make fun of someone, you can be doing lasting harm that can last someone's lifetime. So with your own words, with your own spells, be impeccable with your word, or cast spells that help. Now this becomes really important when talking to ourselves. When we have that internal voice, so many of us talk to ourselves in our head day in and day out. If we're reinforcing things in a negative way, if you're calling yourself stupid, if you're saying you always get it wrong, if you say you're going to hurt yourself, or if you say you're going to fail, these are spells, these are curses that you're casting on yourself. To always be impeccable with your word is to always be uplifting yourself, uplifting others, saying things, saying beautiful spells. So being impeccable with your word is casting spells of empowerment, casting spells with your words that lift people up and make them feel good, make them feel able and empowered, and casting those spells on yourself. Most importantly, watch your internal dialogue. Watch what you say to yourself. Always say something helpful and beautiful to yourself. If you make a mistake, that's fine. Learn from that mistake and see the positive and the opportunity within that mistake to learn and to grow. That is being impeccable with your word. In my meditation and in my personal journey, I see that as the wand of the word. The wand like the element of the wind, the wand in the tarot, the wand in elemental magic, associated with air, the wind, the breath, clarity of mind, speaking and hearing. All of these can be encompassed into the wand of the word or the wand of the wind. So I see that as a wand in my left hand when I'm doing my meditations. The next is don't take things personally. Anything someone says is coming from their story, from their perception base. Anything we say is something we first think of in our brain, filter through our own perception story, our own perception of reality, our own story of the journey, and then project it out into the world. Anything someone says to you is their projection of their story. So don't take it personally. What everyone says is about them. Which also means what you say is about you. What you feel is about you. There's been times, I'm sure, in everyone's life where there's been the jerk at the party. There's been the jerk that didn't bother you. That's, oh, that guy, he's just an idiot. Like, what did he say? I don't know. I don't care. That guy's just a jerk. Did it bother you? Not really. He wasn't, you didn't want to go meet that guy or talk with him, but at the same time, you didn't really have anything to do with him. You went on your way. That person was obviously in their own story and their own journey. Now another person can say something and stir you inside and get you so angry and get you so frustrated. Why did jerk A have no effect on you, yet jerk B stir your emotions to a frustrating point where you feel like you need to say something or do something? It's because it triggers something in your story. It touches either one of your wounds, a concept you have of yourself, or a concept you have of what's right and what's wrong. It's still coming from your story. So what you feel comes from your story and perception of reality. It's you taking it personally. It all comes from an old Toltec teaching of self-importance. That's one of the biggest challenges of a warrior, is eliminating their self-importance so that we don't think we're higher or bigger or grander and our ego doesn't take control. And this can be done through limiting self-importance, which can be done through not taking things personally. Whatever they say is about them, and whatever you feel and say is about you. And I see this in my journey as the armor of detachment, a golden armor that's like a mirror, that anything someone says to me or anyone that aims something at you, you're immune to, because it's not you, it's them. Anything that I feel and is stirred is not about that other person. It's about the way that other person is interacting with my story and how I feel important or how I feel things should be. And so if I want to control myself and my journey, then I have that power because my emotion stirs from within me. So the armor of detachment I see from the north. I see it as the earth. I see it as a solid rock of protection against others' words, others' spells, and that's don't take things personally. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. This is where we build stories in our heads. This is where we add to our story because of something that happened in the world. We want to explain things. We want to know why things happen. So naturally, our mind makes stories up, makes up assumptions. Perfect example is you're walking down the street and this attractive person glances at you and smiles. Now all of a sudden you can have a big assumption, a big story in your head. Maybe this person's attracted to me, maybe we'll go on a date, maybe we'll travel the world, maybe we'll do all these things. Meanwhile, this person just smiled, they were just being friendly. Or a good friend of yours makes a nasty, funny face. And all of a sudden, if you make a story, make an assumption, oh, did I say something wrong? Oh, do they not like me? Oh, what do they have against me? Maybe they're not my friend anymore. When really, this person could just be having a bad day. This person could have sat on something in their pocket and made a funny face. Our story and our assumption is just that. We're a story-making creature. We live in a realm of story. That's our perception of this realm. So, in Don't Make Assumptions, we accept and realize that our perception is based on the stories we make, and we try and become aware of the stories that we're making. We try not to make stories, and if we do make stories, then we go back to the first agreement of being impeccable with our word. Make sure you're making stories that help you. Still be aware that they're stories, but if we can't transcend the creation of story, at least make stories founded on base reality and truth, and empowering and helping you to grow your awareness so you can be aware of the stories that you're creating, the stories that you have. And in the magical journey that I'm weaving with these agreements, I see that as the sword of truth, the sword of fire, the sword that cuts through all the illusion, that can cut through the story and get to the truth. And often that sword can be our mind, and often that sword can be the questions we ask. If we're making assumptions, we can always ask questions to clarify. So this can help clarify our story. Oh, that person didn't mean that. Oh, that person was just in a mood. And realizing that whatever they say and do and feel is not about you. It's about them. Going back to the don't take things personally. So that's the don't make assumptions, don't make up stories, or at least be aware that what we're doing is making up stories. and living in the realm of story perception. Use your sword of truth to cut through to the truth and see what's really going on, not just jumping to the story that your mind brings up. Not everything you think is real. Not everything we think and perceive and hear is the truth. Don't believe everything you think. And then the fourth agreement is always do your best. This, in my realm, is the cup of forgiveness. Always do your best. Forgive yourself, forgive others. If you're always doing your best, then your internal judge and the external judges have no power over you. You did the best you could. No one could expect more of you, including yourself, including your internal judge. So if you do your best, you're free from judgment, and you're open to forgiveness for yourself and forgiveness to others, knowing others did their best, the best they could with what they had. Who knows what that person's life is like? For you yourself in day to day, some days you're feeling sick, some days you're in a mood, some days you're struggling with different things in life and stresses in life. Those days your best isn't going to be the same on the days you had a great night's sleep, beautiful things happened in your life, and you're feeling amazing and energized. Those days your best will be different than the days that you're feeling challenged, and your best is what you can give and no more, so you don't hurt yourself. So that helps free you from your own judgment, from the internal dialogue judge, and from the judgment of others. And it helps you forgive others as well. They did their best with what they had. Who knows what kind of childhood that person had? Who knows what kind of day that person had? Who knows what kind of internal story and suffering that person is living with to make the choices that they're making in the world? That doesn't mean we keep them in our circle. That doesn't mean we keep them in our life. But we can forgive them for what they've done, just like we can forgive us for what we've done, because that sets us free. It helps us release old agreements, old attachments, old curses attached to us, that if we forgive and let go, we can move on and have more energy. Once again, that doesn't mean we keep those people around us and in our circle. If certain people have shown time after time that they're untrustworthy, they're toxic, they're unhealthy for us, and they're casting spells and curses of disempowerment on us and people around us, if those people are negative constantly and bringing you and others around you down, then don't be around those people. At the same time, don't hold a resentment, don't hold an attachment to them of frustration, anger, because that ties you to them, ties your energy to their energy. Then you're caught in this dissonance and focusing your lens on the dissonance of another's experience. They did their best with what they had. That best was not your level of quality that you require in your life, so you forgive them for the struggle they are having in their journey. You forgive them for their struggle and their actions from their struggle, and you move on. And you surround yourself with people that live a life similar to how you want to live, or that are at least striving for a life similar to how you want to live. Surround yourself with those people, and then you can forgive their mistakes as they can forgive your mistakes, as you're all heading towards similar goals. So these are the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word can uplift you and others around you, creating a harmonious family, community, and friendships. Don't take things personally. Can defend you against those casting curses and negative spells in the world, and even more importantly, can help you change your internal dialogue, change your internal judge. Don't take things personally. Anything you feel that you don't like, you have the power to change, because it comes from within you. It takes responsibility, but in that responsibility and accountability for how you feel, you have the ability to change to become how you want to be. Don't make assumptions. We're always making stories. Unless we've reached a level of perception where we're aware of this and choosing to not do it, the human condition goes to a default of creating stories around every scenario. Be aware of the stories you're creating and what you're believing. Don't believe your internal stories and don't believe other people's stories unless they empower, unless they hold a deep essence of truth that helps you on your journey. If this uplifts you, if this teaches you, if this helps you grow and feel good about yourself and access another level of your perception and another level of your legend and path of the hero, then take that in, knowing it's still a story. But there's stories that help. So don't make assumptions. Ask for the truth. Use your sword of truth to cut through. And always do your best. Do the best you can. And then forgive yourself for what you can or can't achieve in doing your best. Drink from the cup of forgiveness. Forgive others, knowing they're doing their best as well. And these are 4 Toltec agreements. To some, they can sound simple, and it can be a lifetime of a journey. As you utilize these agreements, your happiness will expand. Your level of perception and energy will expand. This brings energy into our life. This helps us live and create a beautiful dream, a beautiful story of our own journey. You have the power to do that. As a storytelling human being, you have more power than you realize. It's about reclaiming your power and aligning your story with what you truly want deep inside, how you truly want to help yourself and help your community. And you have the power to do that. It's time to take these tools and reclaim that. This is Haran Oshie for Warrior's Path on the Toltec 4 Agreements. I've got a meditation on this where you journey to the 4 items and bring them into your quest and meditation. So, thanks for listening. I would suggest reading and listening to more of Don Miguel Ruiz and more Carlos Castaneda on the aspects of Toltec magic. May you have a blessed day and make a beautiful myth as you live your legend on Warrior's Path. Like, subscribe, check out other videos. Thank you.